welcome to my channel and welcome to part 3 of my Declutter series. Today we are going to be tackling my eyeshadow and I'm very scared. So first we need to go through these. So these are what's usually displayed on the top of my desk because I'm for some reason was trying to reach for them or use them more. So my Novena palette, my plan was to use it as much as possible this year before decluttering it because I don't really support the brand anymore and the formula just isn't my favorite. But I think I might just go ahead and declutter it now because it's, you know, life is too short. I have so many palettes and I feel like this isn't my favorite formula and there's no point, so I think I'm going to declutter this one. So this is my newest Beauty Bay palette. This is the Dark Fantasy palette. I have hardly used this. I have dipped into it, but Beauty Bay is one of my favorite formulas and I definitely want to try this palette out more. I really love the color story. I love the deep like grungy tones, so I'm going to keep this obviously, but I really want to focus on this, maybe roll this into a project this year. I really like this palette. This is my 35C Everyday Chic or Chic Morphe palette. This is the only Morphe palette I've ever owned. It's the only one that has ever like spoken to me. I think this is so pretty, apart from this shade. I mean, it's gorgeous, but I would never use that because it's glitter. I'm going to keep this. I really love this colour story. I think this is beautiful. I would love to use this more. I heard recently about Morphe, like some sketchy stuff, so let me know if I shouldn't use this. But I think it's beautiful and it's the only one that's ever spoken to me. So keeping this. This is another recent purchase of mine. This is the Jade, does it have a actual name or is it just the Jade palette with Beauty Bay? Basically, I bought this for the shimmers because Beauty Bay shimmers are my absolute favourite formula ever. I haven't used this. I think I have used it for the shimmers, but I have hardly used this, so I would really like to focus on this. Last year I did a month where I just focused, like only used Beauty Bay palettes, and it was my favourite month for makeup ever. So I think I'm going to have to do that again. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. It's a bit kind of overwhelming to look at, I feel. Yeah, I'm keeping this. And I also love the theme, like anything astrological or sort of witchy vibes, I'm down. So this is my Beauty Bay Neutral palette. This is also a 42 pan palette. I bought the, is it 12? They did a 12 or a 16 palette of the neutral line and I was like, okay, yeah, I will need the bigger one. So I actually gave that to my best friend for Christmas and bought the bigger one as well. I've just been really loving neutrals lately and I feel like this is such a beautiful colour story. The shimmers are like these ones. I think you can kind of tell that they're not as amazing formula as usual Beauty Bay palettes, so that's a bit weird. I just love it. Like the mattes, the top 2 rows is just so beautiful to me, and I'm usually a like bright colour sort of crazy look girl, but neutrals have really been like hitting the spot lately, so keeping this as well. I'm probably going to keep all of my Beauty Bay palettes, just so you know, because they're just my favourite. Another 42, this is my Earthy palette. Oh my god, if you know anything about me, you'll know that this palette is just everything to me. I adore it so much. I think it's so beautiful. Recently my go-to look has just been like a brown in the crease and then satellite, because it just looks so beautiful, like this shade, because it's sort of green, sort of silvery, and then a little bit of ray in the inner corner. Just looks so beautiful. I'm gonna have to do that for you guys because that's like the only look I've been wearing recently. So yeah, I love this palette. I would love to see it to look more used. I really recommend this palette to everyone, like seriously, it's beautiful. I need to sort that out. Put that there. Okay, so the drawer. I'm sorry, Patch has been covered up. Oh, say bye-bye to her, my sweet bean. So this is my eyeshadow drawer. Shall I move you forward a bit? I'm so sorry about the setup and the lighting. It's just one of those days. I went out yesterday with one of my best friends, and I'm just like, my body is dead from it now, and yeah, I'm trying to recover. I'm feeling a bit shaky and ill. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I'm sorry if you can, but yeah, I wanted to get this done. So in my eyeshadow palette drawer, I have my headband that I don't really care about, so I just wear this when I do my makeup. I keep that in here. I also keep this little plant pot that is so cute. I'm thinking it's a bear, but it's probably a monkey, right? But I use this to tap my brushes off so that the excess eyeshadow goes in here instead of around my room, because I have enough trouble with all my chinchilla and Patch's hair just gets everywhere, so I like tap off the brush in here. But then all my eyeshadow. So let's start at the front. First of all, my Soph X Revolution. Is this a Super Spice? Yeah, Super Spice palette. This is what she looks like. I love her. This is the brown cookie dough is what I always reach for. I don't know why I choose this palette out of all my palettes, but yeah, I'm keeping her. Love her. Some of the shades I'm not keen on, like these two are like kind of naff, the two shimmers, but I really like this palette and I'd love to see more pans in it. So I'm keeping that. Then another Revolution. This is the Forever Flawless Enchanted palette. This is one that I had wanted for a very long time. I didn't get it the year it was released, and I feel like it went away for a bit and then came back the other year, like the next year for Halloween, because I feel like I was very upset that I missed out on it. But this is just beautiful. Like, I need to use this more. It's so pretty. I just love it, and like the skulls and everything. It's just so inspiring when I look at it. So yeah, I'm going to keep this, and I want to roll it in to something because I love that palette. And then I believe I have some face palettes here. Oh no, this is the Roxy Ride or Die palette. I love this palette. This is like one of the palettes that I really recommend from Revolution. I also feel like it is the Beauty Bay Nikki Tutorials like autumn version of her palette. I just think it's so pretty. I love that it has two pans. I feel like it should have more. But yeah, I'm going to keep this. This is one of my favourites from Revolution. I definitely have face palettes coming up though. Like, I think this is the Roxy Contour and Highlight palette. So I bought this because my sister freaking loves this. And when we went on holiday, her palette was just pans. Just completely like wrecked, and I was like, I need that. So yeah, I have tried it. I think it's really good. I have a lot of bronzers and contour sort of products, so it's hard for me to reach for a palette, but I do like this and I would like to focus on this. So yeah, keeping that. I might see if I can move it up to the drawer above now because I have quite a bit more space. Next, I have a Revolution palette. This is the Reloaded Visionary. I got this in a giveaway, and I don't know, I always feel like these aren't going to be very pigmented, but I think it was, when I swatched it, I was very shocked. So I'm keeping this for traveling, or I don't know. I'm kind of keeping it because I got it from a giveaway. I think it has such solid mattes. The reason why I'm doubting if I should keep this now is because of the Beauty Bay nude palette that I just kept. Oh, I might declutter it. I might see if someone, like my mum or my sister, wants it. It's really nice quality, and I'm so thankful to have won it in a giveaway. Like, the giveaway I won it on as well was so amazing. I only thought I was going to get one palette, which was a Natasha Denona palette, which was crazy that I won that. And she put so many extras in, so I don't know, I might keep it. proper sentimental value. This is another face palette. This is the Roxy blush palette. Look at these colors. Again, the lighting isn't amazing, so you can't really... Oh, there you go. You can sort of see them better now. I just think they're so beautiful, and I'm definitely keeping this. I need to crack this out more. I should probably put these on my desk, actually, the two palettes, so that I know they exist, because it's quite difficult to reach for them. Like, I forget that they're in the eyeshadow drawer, so... Now, my Odin's Eye collection, I'm not gonna... Although there is one I might get rid of, but this is the Soulmane 2 eyeshadow palette. First of all, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like, this is my style. The Odin's Eye formula is just one of my favorites. Odin's Eye and Beauty Bay are just like another level, and I adore this palette. I adore the middle shimmer as well for like literally every look. It looks beautiful. I love the matte formula. This is just beautiful. I love this palette. Everything about this collection was just chef's kiss. Beautiful. And then Judy's palette with Odin's Eye. This is just incredible. One of my go-to neutral palettes. I just adore this so much. I love Sunrise, which is so silly because it's like kind of the most boring shade. But it's just beautiful. Keeping this. Amazing. I love Judy. I love this collection. I love the packaging. Just incredible. She did amazing. And then this is my Saga of Freya. Chapter 2, Cat with the Golden Carriage. Just beautiful. Like, Odin's Eye just always kick it out of the park every time. Yeah. A lovely little book again. I love this palette. It's so cute. I wanted this for a while before I actually made an Odin's Eye purchase, and this color story, incredible. Catnip is my favorite shade. Again, kind of a boring shade, but it's just so pigmented and just incredible for such a light color. This palette is just beautiful. I love Odin's Eye so much. And then my last Odin's Eye palette is the Hummingbird palette. So this is the one I'm not sure about. I think I'm going to keep it purely because if I want these shades, this is the palette I'm going to go to, because Odin's Eye formula. But it's just so difficult for me to use this palette. I'm not sure why. I don't think I could make a look work with just this palette, if that makes sense. And yeah, I just hardly reach for it. But I'm going to keep it because it's beautiful, obviously. And Odin's Eye and Fancy Face, just everything. But yeah, that's my like least favourite, purely because the colour story is like difficult for me. Okay, this palette is really great. I believe the Golden Age palette came out the same time as the Opulence palette by Beauty Bay, which I didn't buy because I had Book of Magic by them, which, by the way, I have decided to declutter. I decided to buy this one because it was when I was starting to get into neutrals, and I'm so happy I did because this is my go-to travel palette. The shimmers are amazing. This one, I adore this. The mattes are like everything I need. And yeah, I just love this. I took this to an 80s concert, and it was just, I just felt so good. This is definitely something I would 100% recommend because it is so cheap as well, because it's a £9 palette. Beauty Bay's eyeshadow palettes are so good for the prices. Like, their prices are insane, but this is so good. I really recommend this purely for like the shimmers. But everything just works so good for my skin tone. So yeah, I love this. And then we have the Nabla Cutie palette, the platinum one. I bought this because of Steph, and it is just one of the best. I'm not gonna lie, purely for this shade. It is incredible, guys. Like, should I swatch it? Look at that. Just, oh my god. Just amazing. I have a lot of silvers in my collection, and I still would purely just reach for this one. It's beautiful. Now that I look at this palette, the other shades, I think I would really like too. But I just haven't really tried them. I need to try them. I think this is really beautiful and so worth it just for this shade. That is insane. Okay, so now we're starting to get onto the ColourPop palettes. So this is the Sweet as Can Be, the Winnie the Pooh collab. I love this palette so much. First of all, Winnie the Pooh reminds me of my best friend. And when we were like my childhood, it just reminds me of a good time in life when I was young and we used to play like The Floor is Lava and jump across her sofas and her table and like watch Winnie the Pooh. That's what this palette reminds me of. And then the shades are just so stunning. I love this palette. I went off ColourPop for a while. I'm still not really like, I haven't purchased for them for ages. I believe this was my last purchase. I think this is just so stunning. I love the shape of the pans as well. I love the formula. And I love all the looks I've created. They're very soft, muted, pretty spring looks. So yeah, this palette is amazing. I don't even know if you can still get it. If you can, I would recommend it. It just reminds me of my childhood. Definitely keeping. Okay, so this is my Going Coconuts. Oh god, it's a mess. I have a lot of pans in this, but this shade, the white shade in the top, I don't want to like tilt it because it will fall out. I don't know what to do because part of me wants to keep it just because of all the pans. I think I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to declutter it, I think. I love this palette so much. It is one of my favorites, 100%. This is just like a recent thing, and because of the fact that it just fell out and is making such a mess, I feel like I'm not going to want to reach for it. But this is a really good palette and I would recommend it. I'm like tempted to just take that shade out and keep it, which I might do, but I'm going to put it down for a declutter, but we'll see. The next palette is my Little Ray of Sunshine. I really love this palette from ColourPop. It's one of my favourite, well, it's one of the ones I kept when I did my massive ColourPop declutter. I think I'm going to declutter it because I'm not going to reach for this. I have so many palettes. Oh, I'm going to declutter it. Oh, that was hard. My Tinkerbell, Sprinkle a Little Magic. This is beautiful. I got this for Christmas from my parents. I'm keeping this. Like, oh my god, beautiful. And I love the bigger pans as well. Yeah, I love this. Beautiful colour story, beautiful packaging. I'm keeping this. My Mandalorian. Oh, it's so cute. I love this palette. I think it's amazing. I definitely need to get more pans, like any pans or usage. It doesn't look like I've used it much, but I have. I've just done very soft looks with it, which is very different because usually with greens I'm like deep emerald looks. This I go like minty and very neutral. Like I've used the Babyface shade, the one in the middle, for like just single color looks before, and it's just been so nice and soft. So yeah, this is one of my favorites from ColourPop. Love that. My So Fly from ColourPop. This is also one of my favorites from them. I just think this color story is amazing for every day. It has a little bit of a duochrome. I think that's duochrome. And yeah, I really like this palette. I really recommend it. I feel like people don't talk about this palette. This is like such a pretty, soft, everyday palette. So I love that. Then my Of Quartz. So I'm like a crystal girl, so I'm tempted to buy all the other crystal ones, but this is interesting for me because this isn't a color story I have. So yeah, I really like this. The lovely smoky looks that can be made with this. Again, I love the big pans. It just like, I don't know, it quenches a thirst in me I didn't know I had. So I'm going to keep this. I love that there's a black and a black with shimmer, like glitter, even though I'm never going to use this one. I love that there's the option. So yeah, keeping that. Well, nothing. I love this palette. I think it's so soft and gentle. Obviously I'm as pale as a piece of paper, so This palette looks really pretty on me, I feel. I know that a lot of ColourPop palettes are just not good for people with dark toned skin, which is a bit annoying because I feel like they do it enough that it's kind of a problematic thing, right? Because having a range of colours and tones and for people it can suit in your brand is really great. But when it's mostly majority for people as pale as me, then it's kind of problematic and needs to be addressed. But for me, I really love this palette. I think it just gives like a watercolor, like a little wash of color, and I think that's really pretty. I really like the shimmers as well. And the packaging, amazing. I love that. My Sailor Moon palette. So I took out the glitter because I don't use glitters. Again, this is a very pale person palette. I really like this. It reminds me of summer and I love Sailor Moon, so I'm going to keep this. That shade is just looks beautiful. I would love to use this more. I'm keeping that. As a Sailor Moon girl, I'm keeping that. This I got for Christmas with the Tinkerbell one, Plush Like Me. This is stunning. I think this is such a good palette. Mostly mattes and they're quite deeper, like not neutrals. Something's like a little bit off about them, like kind of pukey tones, which is just what I go for. I love a pukey tone, and they're quite deep and like, oh, they just look very nice, you know. I really like this palette. I need to use it more. This is like one of those palettes that I need to have on my desk and just reach in for like every sort of look, like just for transition shades. Love that. Shimmers aren't my favourite from ColourPop, but you know. This is the, what is this called? Garden Variety. Again, the packaging, just amazing. I like this palette. I'm going to keep it. I think it's got a good range of colours for me. That is just beautiful, right? Like this one and The World Nothing, I like. Stunning. Okay, I'm sorry if the angle changed a bit. I had to plug in my phone. We're on to the back section. So this is my Hamish palette. If you didn't see my last, or maybe my first Declutter video, Hamish were the first like proper, and still are the first proper brand that has ever reached out to me, and they sent me this palette. This is the Daylism eye palette in Nudie Coral, and I love this palette. I reach for it quite a lot. It's just so good for every day. It has different formulas as well. Like this one is quite creamy for eyeliner, and yeah, I really like this palette. I think it's amazing, and even though it has like clear plastic packaging, almost clear, it's really strong and just, yeah, it doesn't feel cheap at all. I love this sort of packaging, but there is always like the danger of it being cheapy. But this is not, it's lovely. It looks very professional, and yeah, thank you Hamish. I love you Hamish. Seriously, a great brand. And then down here we have my Kaleidos Sashimi City. So this palette is just stunning. Like, first of all, the packaging. I miss when Kaleidos would do packaging like this. I am not really keen on their new stuff. This is just amazing. Like, as an art student, amazing. I just loved their old packaging. This palette is so pretty. The packaging is quite durable as well, so I think this would be good for traveling. For everyday looks, and also it's got duochrome here and another shimmer here that just take your look up to the next level, so I reckon it'd be really good to travel with. I love the sort of pukey brown there. Yeah, it's just beautiful. I love this, and I'm keeping this. And then hidden down here is the Natasha Denona Mini Retro palette. So this is the only Natasha Denona palette I have now. This is the one that I won in a giveaway, and it's just beautiful. I adore this palette. Again, like sort of a plastic packaging, but it feels very luxe. Her formula isn't my favourite formula that I've tried. I don't think it's as amazing as people will make it out to be. This palette, I like this palette. I think it's good. It's good for a couple of looks, different, like mixing the pinks and greens. I think it's good. I like that palette. It's the only one I've kept. I bought the actual like midi retro, and I wasn't keen on that, to be honest. I'm not keen on the cream to powder formula that Natasha Denona makes. Okay, so these are my 3 Moira palettes. I had to get these because a bit of me, right? Like the kind of style. And again, Moira are a brand that I've wanted to try for a while because all their stuff is just so beautiful. And this collection just really got me. So this one, what's this one called? This is the Celestial Love palette, the pinky one. These palettes are quite chunky as well, so if that bothers you, then that is something to note. But this colour story is very gorgeous. I'm not really a pinky person, but this palette is just so beautiful. I had to get it. I really enjoy the matte formula. For shimmers, my go-to is Odin's Iron Beauty Bay, so I wouldn't necessarily use these, but again, beautiful. I love this palette. I definitely want to use my Moira palettes more. I just never reach for them because they're so bulky, and I feel like I reach for the same palette, which I need to not do that because I have so many. This is Time to Shine. This colour story is incredible. This is my favourite colour story from them, I think. Lovely like camo, army greens. Love that. I love this sort of green, like pukey green. And then the last one, which is Chasing Eternity. This is the neutral one. They also had a cool toned neutral, kind of like greygy kind of tones, but I didn't get that one. This one I really like. I like the shimmers in it as well. Again, they're not that squishy formula, but they're alright. And I've reached for this a couple of times. I've reached for them all a couple of times. Really love just everything. I just think they put a lot of effort into all of their products, not just like, you know, I feel like ColourPop is incredible with the packaging, but the product isn't 100%. Whereas I feel like Moira focuses on every single aspect of their products, which is amazing. It's what you would expect. I'm gonna take them out so that I can get back here. But this is my Urban Decay Stone Vibes palette. My mum bought this for me for Christmas and I love it. It's beautiful. I love my crystals. I love these shimmers. The mattes are perfect to just chuck them in the crease and then put a shimmer on and you're done. Love this palette. It's really pretty. I love this. And then my Too Faced Pumpkin Spice. I believe this is my only Too Faced palette. Oh gosh. I really love this palette. I love the colour story. I wish I picked it up more. Pukey, brownie green. Love that. It smells like Smarties. I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, I really want to reach for this more, especially like this reminds me of summer to autumn time. Yeah, really like that palette. And then one of my favourites, my Sigma Enchanted. This reminds me of one of my friends on Instagram so much. This is really beautiful. I love Sigma's mattes, are just incredible. The shimmers are very like glittery and sparkly, which is really nice because usually I go for like the creamy thick matte shimmers, but these are like speckled, if that makes sense. Like you can see they're like very sparkly and the mattes are just so creamy and beautiful. So I do love a Sigma palette. I really like Enchanted. Oh, I want to like glue this onto the mirror because it's just so pretty. So I don't want to get rid of it yet. This is my Naked Urban Decay Cherry palette. So I bought this because this is like the only, at the time, the only Urban Decay palette that I would have been interested in, but I am not, these tones are not a bit of me, so I think I am going to declutter this. I have someone in mind that I know would love it, but I don't know if she would actually like want to have it because I feel like she's had it before and had to declutter it because it expired. So I'll see if she wants it, but I think I am going to declutter this one. And then, I want more Huda Beauty big palettes. So this is my Mercury retrograde. I want to use this more. I love this so much. My dad bought this for me the start of 2022 when I told him I was on a no buy, and he was like, oh no, I have to buy you something then. I love this palette so much. I really want to try the rose quartz palette and the like nude palette that has that weird like gel shadow in the corner. I can't remember what it's called, but it looks so like luxe and chocolatey. I love that. Let's get the ones out the back. These are some big ones. So Beauty Bay Love Notes. This palette is gorgeous. Can you see it? There we go. I love this palette so much. I've used it quite a bit. One of my faves. The shimmers are amazing. I love this little quad as well. I love the little quads actually. They're just like stunning. I love this palette. I'm keeping. This is another face palette. This is the Revolution and Imagination Highlight to the Moon. I bought this for like £2. I've wanted this for a while, and I just thought I have so many singles that I just didn't buy any face palettes for a while. But face palettes, I just freaking love them. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get it before you can't buy it anymore. So this is another thing I need to put on my desk. But yeah, I'm keeping this. I really like the Revolution contour palettes. Then we have the Wilderness palette by Beauty Bay. Beautiful. I love this quad. Yeah, I don't reach for this as much now because I have the Earthy palette, but I'm going to keep this obviously because it's stunning. It has Ray in it, which I love. That's in the Earthy palette, and Lime obviously. Quite a lot of these shades are in the Earthy palette. I'm going to keep it because it's stunning. It means a lot to me. Then we have the Beauty Bay Nikki Tutorials palette. This palette I really recommend to literally everyone. The shimmers in this are just insane, like on another level. Beauty Bay shimmers. All in is stunning. I've got patch hairs in every single palette I've showed you. I'm so sorry. This is just incredible. I really recommend this palette. You can usually get it. I think you can still buy it. You can usually get it for like crazy discounts. So that is worth it just for the shimmers alone. Then I have my Unicorn Cosmetics Angel palette. This palette has so much potential, I feel. Like, I could use the big shades for blushes. Like, look at that. I'm sorry if you can hear Patch snoring, by the way. And I think it's really good for people who aren't very creative and have to have a little bit of guidance. So you could do like looks with the duos. So I think this has so much potential. I just haven't used it. And I don't know why, because it's so beautiful. I think it's stunning. I need to use that. I might put that on my stand on my desk. And then another palette that I really recommend, the Sample Beauty Equalizer Volume 2. So this is stunning. The shimmers are like squishy, gorgeous, amazing. The mattes are very buttery. I feel like this colour story is just not me anymore. Like I used to be very pinky, purpley, like red toned, warm toned. Oh, I guess I am warm toned, but not pinky purpley. So I don't know. I'm going to keep it because I really like this palette and I really recommend it because I think it's got everything that you kind of need. If this colour story speaks to you, and it is beautiful. So yeah, I am going to keep it. I'm happy I got the old packaging because I prefer this much more. Oh my god, I forgot about this baby. This is the NYX Ultimate Utopia palette. This is literally my favourite palette and I have not used it in ages. This is pricey for a NYX palette, like it is expensive, but I think it is incredible. I love these tones and yeah, I just love it. Like the shimmers are like close to Beauty Bay, like they give the same payoff and they're not as squishy. So if that's something that you like, I feel like they wouldn't crease as much. But yeah, this is just incredible. I really recommend this. I know it is expensive. I don't like spending a lot of money on makeup. anymore. But this one I totally recommend. Honestly, I have loved every single look I've made with this. I need to pull this out more. Oh my god, it needs pans like yesterday. And then back here, we have the the BH Cosmetics Los Angeles. I think it's Lost in Los Angeles, I think. I'm going to declutter this. It reminds me of my niece so much. I don't need a palette to remind me of my niece because I can just hug my niece whenever I want to, you know? So, yeah, but it does remind me of her because when we went on holiday, she asked me to do her makeup and this is what I brought. It's really pretty. I really love the colour story and the formulas are quite good. I have a lot of palettes and I feel like I never reach for this, so I'm decluttering. And then back here we have a Rimmel Magnifies Jewel Rocks edition. I got this from TK Maxx, yeah, for £4. I really like this colour story. Patch is snoring so loud, I'm sorry guys. I really like this colour story. I really want to try the formula, but I think I am going to declutter this because again, I just have so many palettes that I need to use more that have this sort of grungy tones too. So I am going to declutter this. I haven't used this, so I might see with all my decluttered makeup, I'm going to see if my family members want it. But yeah, it is very pretty. It's very pretty. I love this tone of matte, like lovely. And then lastly, oh my god, can you see this? There we go. So this is my VE Cosmetics singles palette. It's like a book, so you can have so many different like singles in here. But I have all of my singles that I kept from ColourPop in here. I'm going to keep this because I kept these all for a reason. Yeah, these are the ones that I kept either because of the formula or the colours. So yeah, I'm going to keep this. I think this is so beautiful, by the way. I think it could get really heavy if you fill it up because it is quite heavy. But this is beautiful and yeah, I just adore this. I bought this off Depop secondhand from someone and yeah, I just love it. I think it's really beautiful. I'm really happy I found this. There we go. We've done it. We've decluttered a bunch of eyeshadow palettes. We got rid of 6 eyeshadow palettes. I think that's pretty good, honestly. I'm very excited. So I have these and I also have, can you see them down there? Those go on my desk. So I'm gonna rearrange them. Thank you guys for keeping me company. I'm sorry if I was a bit out of it during this video. I'm quite ill and anxious today, but I'm very glad. I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulder that we did this, and thank you so much for keeping me company. Hopefully now I can figure out projects and like what I'm gonna do because I need to get back into it. Thank you guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.